7.5 is the win total for this year. Everyone wants to know how will Jordan Love do in his first year as a starter. Amal, first off, as far as the QB position goes for the Packers, what are your expectations as far as Love?
I don't know. And that's the thing. There's a lot of conversation around this team. I think if you're ever going to take a shot on a wild card, right, they're plus 180 to make the playoffs. I think it's a good bet in this sense. We don't know what Jordan Love is, and if he's good and if he's consistent, then this team can be dangerous. Overall, when I look at this team, there's still talent on this roster. I know last year they had a drop-off. They didn't play particularly well, but, they've got one of the best still. When you look at Jair Alexander, arguably the best cover corner or top 5 cover. I get it if you want to make a case for Patrick Surtain or the kid down in Miami, Jalen Ramsey. But to me, I like the addition of Luke Musgrave at tight end. That guy's going to be tough in short yardage situation. You maybe put him in the backfield. Jaden Reed as well. I'm not as high on Christian Watson as Aaron Rodgers was, but Romeo Doubs, I like him a lot. The offensive line, if they can stay healthy. By the way, I feel like Bakhtiari's injured every other day.
Sure.
If this offensive line stays healthy with Runyon, with Myers, they could be pretty dangerous. Are you guys Aaron Jones fans?
Yeah, of course.
Love. I mean,
are you being facetious or are you being serious?
No, Aaron Jones is a great two-way back.
Great? He's solid.
You
guys are talking about this guy like he's Amon Green.
We love some Amon Green.
I mean, that's a good argument.
He's no Sam Congato, okay? Let's just get that out of the way, all right?
But Aaron Jones is such a great pass catcher out of the backfield. They can line him up in the slot or outside. I think what Aaron Jones brings is a great, I would say, a three-way back because he's a good pass blocker as well.
I like Aaron Jones, but I mean, by the way, the reason why I brought up Amon Green, I think he was criminally underrated when he was in Green Bay. I don't realize people, until you look at his stats, realize how good he was. I like Aaron Jones, but to me, a lot of times, guys, their effectiveness so many times can be benefited by playing with someone like Aaron Rodgers.
Sure. You can make that case though for the entire offensive roster with the offensive line. That's a big question, right? Where Zach Tom got a lot of time at left tackle when Bakhtiari was out injured. Now he moves to right tackle, and you could say, all right, well, can you ding them because Rodgers got rid of the ball so quick? I would counter by saying, is there two more factors more important to a young quarterback coming into the league and taking over starting quarterback than the strength of his O-line and the running backs to complement him? And with Green Bay, Jordan Love has that. With an O-line where if you get health from Bakhtiari, that is a top 10 unit. The combination of A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones is a legit top 10 unit as well in the running back department. You're having to take a leap of faith on the development of Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs at that wide receiver position, plus what you're adding in a Luke Musgrave at tight end. But I at least believe that the pieces are there for Love to have success. Now that he's been in the system for a few years, this is not some rookie coming out from Utah State day one who is completely green like we saw him in that COVID season filling it at Arrowhead Stadium. So there are reasons to believe in the offense being better than people would think.
Look, I think at 4-1, they're a good bet to win the division. The one thing is, if you take the Cleveland Browns in the AFC and the Green Bay Packers in the NFC, to me, are the two teams that they won their respective divisions or they made a postseason push and got in, would not be a surprise because I think the talent is there. With the Browns, it's a question of whether Watson can put it together consistently. With the Packers, it's how does Jordan Love develop and what does he do once he has that ability? And I don't know if it was you or Wyatt that made the point a second ago. You said he's been in the system. He's had some opportunities there. Now, if he can implement that and be effective, I think this team could be really dangerous. And one of the things that benefits this Packers team at 4-1, we're talking about the Detroit Lions like they're the 85 Bears.
I know.
I mean, look, they played well down the stretch. Yes, they did beat Green Bay, but that Packers team already looked disengaged in that matchup. I don't know. I'm not ready to go crazy with them. Minnesota at 275. Minnesota, what were they? 13-4 last year. I mean, we're talking about the Vikings like they're going to be 4-13 this year, plus 275 to win this division. You mentioned it a couple days ago. The Detroit Lions are still the Detroit Lions. Let's not act like, hey, they're coming off 5 straight division titles, 4 Super Bowl. I mean, what have they done?
Yeah, this is not the Wayne Fonts, Barry Sanders-led Detroit Lions that were last able to win a division back in the year 1993.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument to be made on the Vikings or the Packers, even the Bears. I would say Bears a little bit less, but I think Justin Fields has the greatest upside of any player in this division, including Jordan Love. I don't know. I don't think you really go wrong. Even if the bet doesn't win, I think the Vikings and the Packers to win their respective division is not a bad bet at all. The concern I have with Minnesota is you lose a Darius Smith, you lose Dalvin Cook. But with this Green Bay team, if Jordan Love is consistent, you mentioned, I was looking at Aaron Jones' numbers. You guys are correct. You guys are absolutely right. I was wrong. He's got a career 5.1 yards per carry average. Yeah. This guy's effective. And, maybe it's just certain times, maybe I'm looking at as a little bit more of a smaller sample size. I know you guys follow the Packers closer than I do, but I'm a big Rodgers guy. And so that's why I ding them with love a little bit. But overall, their talent is on par with anybody else in the division when you look at the other 21 players. I mean, they're still solid defensively. They were a little bit inconsistent. You go back 2 years ago when they lost to the 49ers. That was not on the defense. That was on the offense.
Special teams, too.
So, yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is they're still solid. They don't have to be great. It's not like you look there and you go, dude, we got Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen in this division.
You really count on the defense is Rashawn Gary getting back to form after a torn ACL. You count on Kenny Clark, who's had a bit of a decline in production at times, getting back to a measure he was earlier in the career. If he's able to improve on some of the things in the trenches there. But it is interesting to note that a lot of respected money has come in on the Packers as that long shot in the division, just viewing that there are a lot of outcomes that could happen in the NFC North. Packers were at 1.5 to 1. They've been bet down to 4 to 1. Co-third choice there with Chicago this year. The one other thing I'm curious too is how the offense from a tempo standpoint looks them all, because like Aaron Rodgers dictated the tempo of that offense last year. It was the slowest one in the league from a snap-to-snap perspective. With Matt LaFleur as a play caller, you have Jordan Love, who ran a lot of up-tempo at Utah State, has been in the system now. Will they be willing to try to give opposing defenses a different look and go, you know what? Let's not just hold the ball for 40 seconds every play. Let's get on the ball. Let's try to do different things, keep defenses off balance. That's the one wrinkle that people aren't really considering with what Love can bring. No,
you're absolutely right. It's going to be interesting to see how they approach it. And you mentioned, this team and what they're capable with Love under center. The one thing I like is this team opens at the Bears, winnable game. I think they're about a 2.5, maybe a 3-point dog. They're at the Falcons, very winnable game. You get the Saints at home, good spot, and then you get the Lions on Thursday Night Football. So, Ben, I'm not saying that they've got to be 4-0 to open, but this team has a chance. And if you bet them at 4 to 1, and these division odds are continuously fluctuating throughout the course of the season, you can be in a situation where you put yourself in a position to be at least profitable or break even on it, and then kind of free roll the Packers to a potential division title. I'm not suggesting this team is going to be great, but I think in a division that has a lot of question marks and a ton of uncertainty, I think Green Bay at 4 to 1 is not a bad look.
That's a great point to make, especially about the schedule early on. Week 6 bye, there will be over under 45,000 cheeseheads at Allegiant Stadium come week 5 Monday Night Football. That's another thing you got to consider.
Why? There are no more flights out of Green Bay or Madison or Milwaukee?
That's
only going to be 45,000. When Bucky Badger used to play here against UNLV, the whole stadium was filled with Wisconsin.
And that's when they tell you, Wyatt knows, that's when UNLV would use it for their team photo because the stadium was packed and it was full of Badger red, but nobody could tell the difference.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.